Cersei watched from high in her castle as the dead attacked the walls of King's Landing. The Golden Company was standing their ground well. Cersei wondered how the dead prevailed over the north, if this is all they were capable of. On the opposite side of the river, Daenerys' sellswords and a handful of Dothraki were evenly matched with the Golden Company.
Do we have the figures on the dead yet?
Asked Cersei. 25,000, we estimate. We trade one of ours for 5 of theirs, Qyburn added.
The dragonglass weapons are holding up. So it is. Just a matter of time.
Cersei asked. It would appear so. Daario's information as to the mine's location was invaluable, answered Qyburn.
Speaking of our spy, it's odd we haven't seen a dragon yet. No word from Daario, I assume?
Asked Cersei. Not for quite some time, Your Grace, Qyburn answered.
No matter. The remaining Unsullied are rowing ashore. This is their final stand. The dragons must be no more. Please inform Sir Hunts. We are to give no quarter, no parley.
Order, Cersei. Right away, my queen, answered Qyburn. Cersei paced and watched the battle unfold. The remaining Unsullied were now ashore. The Golden Company were fighting on 3 sides now to protect the castle. Cersei grew bored and progressed out into the throne room. And the snow continued to fall outside. The wall behind the throne was yet to be repaired. The light dusting covered the platform that supported what remained of the Iron Throne. The Queen could still sit upon it, but it resembled more of a stool these days. Tywin paced at the feet of the stairs. Clearly he was excited at the scent of blood in the air, as was Cersei. The Red Woman was chained to a nearby pillar. Sir Ilyn Payne stood over her, prepared for an execution order. Cersei approached her, and bent down to observe the frail old woman.
Where is your god now?
Asked Cersei. Melisandre had been beaten and shamed for attempting to broker peace between the armies of the living. Melisandre turned to Cersei, one eye swollen shut, and the other eye burned with a bright flame. Cersei was taken aback by this.
The promised.
Melisandre repeated in a raspy voice. Cersei approached her at the base of the steps. Her executioner stood at the ready.
The prince.
She continued, as if no one could hear her.
The prince that was promised?
Asked Cersei with a slight intrigue.
Indeed, Your Grace. He has been reborn.
She croaked, with her one open eye welled a single tear.
A drunk priest from Myr told Robert and I of the legend. Many years ago, Robert considered it entertaining always being the less drunk shit in the room. Who would end the long night and vanquish the darkness? Renly, Stannis, or the Bastard King of the North?
Cersei continued to mock Melisandre until the priestess spoke up.
Sir Jaime Lannister.
She answered simply. The priestess responded, and Cersei laughed coldly.
Tell me how a one-handed traitor forged this silly sword. Water was the first, if I remember correctly.
Cersei claimed, in a mocking tone. She obviously did not believe her, but she was bored and snapped at her servant for a drink.
He did temper his sword in water during the Siege of Pike, when he stabbed through the very heart of the Sea Lords. Thors of Myr should have recognized it then. He was there.
Melisandre rasped. Cersei was positively engaged at this point, and countered the priestess's next point.
What of the second sword?
Asked Cersei with anticipation.
Right here, on these steps, Sir Jaime tempered his second sword, when he stabbed his king through his heart,
claimed Melisandre, and Cersei scoffed at her assumption.
He killed a so-called dragon on that fateful day, not a lion.
Cersei corrected, and Melisandre smiled widely.
Kingslayer, man without honor. Make no mistake, Your Grace, the blood of a dragon may have been spilled on these steps, but it was the lion that truly died that day. Honorless, prideless, and he lived a life of constant shame all because of his own sword. Death may be the destination, but pride is the path.
Melisandre claimed, as Cersei rolled her eyes. Cersei bent down as to challenge the priestess.
How could he pull a flaming sword from the chest of the only woman he loved, if I'm standing right here? Demanded
Cersei coldly. As Melisandre finally made eye contact, her face split to a wild grin. Melisandre slowly rose to her feet and cackled madly.
A homely woman?
Cackled Melisandre uncontrollably. Melisandre started humming, and Cersei turned to Sir Ilyn. She half expected an explanation from the mute knight. The throne room shook unexpectedly, and Cersei looked up to a visible sky from a roofless throne room. Then again down to the Red Woman, who returned a sinister grin. Melisandre stood high enough to meet Cersei's eye.
Winter has come.
She rasped. Cersei was startled as the throne room shook again, as she stared into the sky through the broken roof of the Red Keep throne room.